Welcome to the Wednesday Call Live. Now let's hear for our special guest host, Alex Abuyuan.
Oh man, we are fired up. I'm excited. Thank you, Andy Albright, for letting me take the reins of the teaching for Alliance Nation. And I'm just excited to be here. I'm humbled to be here. And I'm probably more excited to introduce to y'all some top winners in our hierarchy that are just kicking butt and taking names and are more than qualified to share some of these nuggets of wisdom, the 7 harsh truths of being successful in the Alliance. And, it's the kind of stuff that you need to hear, not that you want to hear. And for those of you, there's some of you that want to hear this. So we're going to deliver. I'm more than confident that the lineup that I've chosen today will do the job. And we huddled up yesterday and we got our last night and we got it together, I know. So like I said on the video I promoted that, man, we're hoping that this will make an impact in your life. We know that it will because we've got the people that will deliver the message in a big burly way. One thing they wanted me to announce a really exciting, I'll tell you what, Robbie said, get it fired up. I'm still trying to absorb this information. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going, oh my gosh. I'm like, I cannot believe this. It's one of these bombs that Robbie called me like 15 minutes ago. Hey, dude, can you do me a favor? I go, what? Can you announce this? And I go, what is it? And then he told me what it is. And I'm like, seriously? Like, I thought we already had it good with all the stuff that we're doing and partnering with the Integrity Marketing Group and having access to all these awesome carriers and all this awesome training and lead programs and all this stuff Chris Hill's rolling out for you to access leads. And just when I thought it was good, they make it even better. Okay, so you guys ready to hear this? I mean, I don't want to take all the time from all our great guests, but okay. So this is the latest. We are partnering with the Duck. Okay. We have an exclusive arrangement through Integrity Marketing Group to partner up with Aflac and all their products. So any business owner, anybody who owns a business, we are partnering with the Duck. You see the Duck? I think that baby blue, that's probably why I'm wearing this baby blue here shirt, because we're partnering with the Duck. It's exclusive. Did I say that again? Let's say it again, exclusive. In other words, all those other knuckleheads out there with all those other groups that are not part of Integrity do not have the exclusive. But we, you and me, with the Alliance have the exclusive with operating with this in our back pocket. So we're talking to anybody out there who owns a business. Hey, by the way, now I don't know anything about all their products. They have a myriad of products that are catered to the business owner. And so we have the exclusive arrangement on that. Man, are you guys fired up? I mean, this is just sort of like another thing that we can do to help our clients, help our business owner clients. I know y'all have, through our lead program, we run into business owners left and right. So this is just an incredible opportunity. So I'm just jacked up. Anyway, man, that's hopefully I did a good job. Robbie wanted me to jump up and down. It's like, I don't know that I can jump up and down more than I'm already, Anyway, it's just crazy. So we're blessed. All right, gang. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I don't like going an hour and a half. So we're going to make this a short hour. And I want to introduce to you my buddy. This guy is just incredible what he's done and where he's come from and what he's done to grow in the Alliance. And now he's just going crazy with commitment, with writing business, doing all the things that we want all our agents to do. And his background is just an interesting background. So I want to introduce my man, Jose Compton, and bring him on the line. There's my man, Jose. Jose, there he is.
Mr. Alex Abuyuan, how's it going?
Doing great, man. Doing great. So the theme of this call is the 7 harsh truths of being successful in the Alliance. And I know you've experienced some incredible things in your life, pain, disappointment, suffering. Man, what keeps you going? Talk about your background. Talk about things that you've learned in the Alliance that you think are just truisms that people have to do, man, in order to make it with us.
When it comes down to the Alliance, there's one of the biggest things that, I learned over time in a very short period of time. There's only 8% of people that make it successful inside of this business. It's because people, they give up. You cannot give up. You have to know your why. Why are you doing it? You're talking about my background and where I came from a little bit. I was adopted when I was 4 years old, and when I got adopted, it was to a whole different family. Like I didn't, know these people. My sister got adopted too as well. We were supposed to adopt my other sister, but her mom took her to Alaska. So I'd never seen my other sister growing up. And then growing up in life is just, it will throw you those curveballs that you never expect. But at the same time, if you let those curveballs get you down, you're going to be stuck. Because, I never knew my father was going to pass away when I was 15. I never knew my mom was going to pass away when I was 20 years old. And here I'm an orphan. I ran away when I was 18. And here I'm an orphan, 20 years old. And when I was 18 to 22, I was an alcoholic. So, I had my problems in life. I had my obstacles and I had my curveballs that I had to go around and I had to learn from. But I'm going to tell you at the same time, when I got in with the Alliance, I was not in the best predicament for myself. You know what I mean? A lot of us don't start off with shiny rainbows and colors and everything else. I was in a pretty rough spot. I was working for a company for about 2 years, doing some windshield door knocking, just trying to replace people's windshields for $100 a pop every time I replaced it. So when I heard an opportunity where I didn't have the cold door knock no more, and then we had these things called leads, I was like, man, this is like, just it's luxury, opposed to having to go get, cold doors and replace windshields for $1 or not dollar, $100. And then every pop over here is about 500. So I was like, dude, I quit cold turkey right off the bat when I got my license. It took me about, off and on 2 years to get my license. And I'm going to tell you what, that roller coaster went up and down, up and down, up and down until I made the decision, because my other half sat there and looked me in the face, told me, Jose, I'm not going to get off this bed with you until you pass this license. And I thank her every day for it. You know what I mean? Because I've got to meet the people. I've got to be around the people. And it just, every day when I'm in the Alliance, don't get me wrong, I still have obstacles. I still have things that, I have to work with. I go out there, write a policy, and then I'm trying to make sense to these people about, what's going on in their situation. They don't want to listen to me, blah, blah. And I go write a policy, it may drop off, there's a bunch of different things within inside of business that you don't, my buddy Patrick Connors, I'll tell you this. There's one thing that he told me about a year ago. He looked me in the face because I used to call. I was like, Patrick, what do I do, man? He said, Jose, you can't fall in love with something you never had. I was like, holy shoot. You said what? And he said, you cannot fall in love with something that you never had. That right there just, changed the whole career. And right there, that just made it where I'm not going to go out there and focus on one piece of business. I'm going to focus on the whole enchilada. You know what I mean? Some people might go this way, but then I have the rest over here. And it's just because of the fact that I go out there and put myself in front of more people, then that just means I have more business. So it's one of those things, there's going to, like I said, there's going to be obstacles. There's going to be courses it's about you going through those obstacles and courses that make you successful.
Now, does it ever stop? Like, do you ever stop with the crap that happens with life? I mean, does it ever seem to end? And how do you deal with that? How do you deal with just stuff popping up all the time? And how do you stay on focus, on track?
I got my other half, and this is a perfect question. My other half is going through her own stuff right now, in and out of the, doctor's appointments and stuff like that.
And what's her name?
Brittany.
Brittany, that's right.
Brittany Smith. Yes, sir. And so, it's one of those things that, it comes down to your why. You know what you want. How are you going to get it? Like Andy Albright says, right? You know what you want. How are you going to get it? And I'm going to tell you what the craziest thing is? The busier you get, the more problems you get. The busier you get, the more stuff that's going to come your way. So if you don't know how to go around it and just curve around it and stay focused, then you're going to have one heck of a time trying to get through it. So what I could say is the best thing to do would manage your time. You got to take your wife to the hospital. You have your kid's basketball game. You have to do this and do that. Well, okay, you just got a chargeback. What are you going to do about these? Are you going to sit there and just look at it, the chargeback? Or are you going to call the client up and try to get it back on the books? What exactly are you going to do about these obstacles? You know what I mean? I forgot what it was. I believe there was a saying, cattle run away from the storm. Buffalo run into the storm. If you run away from the storm is just going to keep following you. If you go through the storm is going to surpass you, and you're just going to get, and then back into the sunshine you go. So I'm going to tell you what, you just got to keep doing the do, and you know what you have to do. So why don't you just do what you got to do? That's what, you know what I mean?
I love it. That is one thing about you that I totally admire, dude, is when you have chargebacks or you have stuff that happens. This last year has totally impressed me how you just ran after it. And you know what? And you've got people to help you, right? That's what I love about the Alliance. You got people that have no vested interest in your business that has helped you. Like, I remember Brian Rojas, man, my man, Brian, he killed it. He and Stephanie killed it last week. And I'm one of his biggest fans, he and Crystalline. And he's helped you right now with trying to figure out leads in Washington State. You've got Bell Krause helping you. Like, man, speak to that. I mean, you can't, it's like a turtle on a fence post, right? They didn't get there on their own.
That's one of the things, you gotta learn how to crawl before you can walk. And then you got to learn how to walk before you can run, right? So basically, and I got to give a shout out. Brian Rojas, Stephanie Rodriguez, Mike Hardley, Steve Maxim, you got, Jacob Bell Krause, and then you got Michelle Collin, all these people, man. And then Andy Albright himself, Dennis Lyons, Patrick Connors, Alex Zabian, the man right in front. I'm going to tell you, all these people is because of the fact that you cannot be shy. If you want it, you have to go get it. You got to be, be that annoying kid that just holding onto their leg 24/7. Like, I want it. Can I just, can I have it? But you have to be able to go out there and put yourself in front of the people and just do what you have to do so that you can be successful. And I appreciate every single one of them. And I don't take it for granted, because I'm going to tell you what, if I didn't start out getting the opportunity of going to the Treasure Island office, I would have been just stuck in my little, office cubicle in my bedroom, trying to figure out, what am I going to do? What is the next step? And I wouldn't even know how to make dials without Brian. I wouldn't be able to know where I need to go and what I need to do without Jake and Bell Krause. You know what I mean? And it's just, you have to, I say diversity is king. Because one thing is, like, I could take this from this person, this from this person, that from this person, and then make it into my own and mold it into myself. And that was one of the confusing parts about when I was with the Alliance. I was hearing this, hearing that, hearing this, hearing that. And then I had a serious conversation with somebody, and they told me, listen, you cannot listen. You have to look at the people that have the ring on their finger, and you have to look at the people that are doing what you want to do. Those are the people that are going to take you and advance you so far.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, man, one thing that I note about you as well, where some people, ask for advice from, our top people, and when they don't implement it, you see, they just they stole that person's time to get that advice. They don't implement it. And I think why people like Bell Krause and Brian Rojas are willing to invest in you is that you're willing to do the work. Like, they would see you stumble, fall, get back up again, get coaching, stumble, fall, get back up again. I will help anybody that's willing to put the work in, man. Talk about the value of you stepping it up on the work side.
I'm gonna tell you what, like, there's one of the biggest things that I had to learn. You have to invest into yourself to be able to increase yourself, right? So basically, like in the beginning, I was scared to invest. I was like, oh, $500 into leads. Okay, let's see what we can do here. And so then I was like, but now I'll just put money towards leads, and then I'll put money towards recruiting, because I know how fruitful it is at the end. As long as you're going out there and you're doing the do, I'll sit here and dial, and let's say, sit 12 appointments, whatever I book of the day. And then every single day after that, whatever my appointments are not, I'll go out there and door knock every single lead until I get in front of their face. Either they're going to tell me they want it, or they're going to tell me they don't. And if they don't want it, I'll still come back in about 5 or 6 months, and maybe something else happened in your life and changed it. So, it's about, what do you want? How are you going to get it? You got to know your why. My why, and I'm going to tell you what, is because I want my mother and father upstairs looking over down on me, being proud of me, being like, you know what, son, all this stuff that you went through your life, now you're making something of it. Now you're becoming the man that your dad wanted you to be. Now you're becoming the man that your kids are going to look at in the future and want to be just like. So I want to go out and help families. I want to, one of the biggest things that I would love to do with the Alliance, is go talk to more adopted kids, because there are a lot of adopted kids out there that could use a second opportunity. I was one of them. So if I could go out there and give this, to somebody else as a business or as a tool to help out their family if anything was to happen to them, it's about me going out there and making a difference in everybody's life. And it's because I put in the work. How many times have I been in front of a house that they told me, well, he just passed away? I don't take that very lightly. You know what I mean? I'm like, shoot, I should have been there 2 months ago. What would have been different if I would have, been there a year ago or something? Like, you have to put in that extra step so that you can get in front of them. Even if they tell you no on the phone, they don't know you from Adam. So when you show up and they see a physical person, okay, well, maybe you're a little bit more legit, and they can't really say anything when you got a full on physical lead in front of them. So it's about doing what you got to do the do.
Dude, you said it, man. You said it. Pain, suffering, difficulty, and trials are all part of life. But you just kept a work ethic going to just pull through it, not be slowed down by it. I know a lot of people out there get slowed down by every little emotional thing, this and that. But you just are focused on your why and why you are killing it. And I can't be more proud of having you on our team and on the Alliance team, brother.
Thank you so much.
So thank you for your help. Thank you for having a dream, dude, and being a great example to people out there. I know, man, what you've been given, you are going to give out to others in return. So, man, Jose Compton, you rock, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
All right, man. Let's bring on my man, Jake. Jake is one of our top leaders. Jake and Beret, both of them, they are a team. I was telling Jimmy this, while I was like editing your success video. Every time she'd walk in, I'd go, I just love Jake and Beret. She goes, oh, you always say that. I go, because I do. I love them. I want to adopt them. I want to totally adopt Jake and Beret. My wife can totally vouch for that. It's like, man, well, we pay college for the kids. I about almost think I might want to do that. So.
You could adopt us, Alex.
Hey, we'll take it any day. I know you just had son moving out of the house and graduating. We'll
hey, man, what does it say? Wise man has many counselors. How about a wise people have many parents? So anyway, I love you guys. You guys are awesome, and just so proud of what you all have been through. And that's why you're like one of the top, talking on subject of harsh truths, the realities of working the business. Because when you guys got started, you guys didn't know nothing from nothing. Construction worker, nursing student, children, and then you join us, and oh my gosh, what a transformation. So Jake, why don't you give us your take on the harsh truths of being successful in the business, man?
Yeah, of course. Thank you. First thing, thank you, Alex. Thank you, Jenny, for having us on here. Thank you for asking Noelle that question so many years ago. Hey, you want to make some extra money? Thank you for doing that, because it has changed our lives. And I know you enjoy that question too. That was a powerful question for you. Is that how it happened?
Yes.
Oh shoot, I love it. I love it. We should reenact that. We should do a video skit of that.
Yeah.
Awesome. You and Noel in the cubicle. I'm just kidding. Anyway, thank you so much, Alex. I'm Jake Joseph here in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, with my beautiful bride, Beret Joseph. Yeah, getting started was, getting started in the business and really just getting started in our life. There wasn't, no one told us in life how hard it was going to be, but also how good it was going to be. Damn, it's good. And that's one of the harsh truths that we have to understand is shit will get thrown our way. There is a God, and there's powerful God, and there's also Satan too. So we have to be real with ourselves and understand that junk will happen. And it's not the size of it or what it is, it's how we respond to it. That's the biggest thing. So from our side, a little bit from our background of, being high schoolers, finding out that we were going to be pregnant. There was stuff thrown at us left and right. People were telling us, you can't do this. You got to go get an abortion. How are you supposed to have a kid and take care of a kid when you're a kid yourself? So there was so many distractions thrown our way when, we didn't really have just like the peace and quiet to make a decision for ourselves. And so that's one truth that we have to be able to understand and know is going to be there, is that there will be distractions. There will be things that Satan, that devil will be in your life trying to pull you in so many different directions. And we just need to understand, where we truly want to be, kind of like what Jose was talking about. Right. So you have to ask yourself, when things come up, when these urgent things come up, it's a doorbell ringing, it's a phone ringing, it's someone pulling on your arm, these distractions coming up, it's asking yourself, with me, shifting to paying attention to that, is it getting me towards what I really want in life? Like, oh my gosh, if you're sitting here thinking that a call like this or a national convention is a distraction for you, Lord, you have to check yourself, because being on these things, last week, our buddies Stephanie and Brian, they blew that thing up. That is not a distraction. That is going to make you rich by being on one of those. So you need to take a look. Andy says you don't know how you look until you get your picture took. So look at what it is you're looking to do and really find out the things that are getting thrown your way. What this distraction, how do I handle it? Is there someone else that can do it for me? When we were getting started in the business, we were in this kind of fixer-upper home, and the floors needed to be redone. And as we were trying to get a hang of this business, I was over there getting distracted by having to do the tile floor myself. If you've never done a tile floor, it's a pain in the butt. You do not want to do it. And I talking with Joseph, talking with Mike, learning how to be a business owner, that distraction was not worth my time. If we wanted, which is what we wanted, to be financially free, we wanted to build a massive business. So we had to learn how to react to that distraction, something that needed to be done between floors and a shower, and hire someone to do that for us. So it wasn't a distraction for us anymore. It was someone else's problem. I did not have to deal with it anymore. We could focus on what we needed to do. But you come into this business and be mindful, like you see all this success. Our first national convention, seeing people walk across stage, hearing Andy talk, hearing Paul Roberts talk, Diane Lampy, Mike and Noel Evantovich, Alex and Jenny Abian, Adam and Beth Katz. Like, you look at them and you're just like, oh my gosh, they're so successful. They're making all this money. They're helping so many people. They ain't got a damn problem in their life. It's like the devil doesn't exist in their life. There ain't no way. It's going so damn well for them. But they're just so good at dealing with these distractions that get thrown their way. So it's like, if you feel like you've got, there you go, like water off a duck's back, just let it roll off. And so it's just understanding, like, hey, they got more problems than we do. It's just how they handle them and how they do. I mean, in this business, you can go out and you can help a family and make $400 or $500 like that. insurance companies win, the family wins, as you as the agent wins. If you're building a team, that's really 4 or 5 wins right there. The only person losing is the devil. Like, what we have here is amazing. Right. I am convinced that we have the best opportunity in the United States of America. Hands
Absolutely.
down. Hands down.
Well, dude, I love it because, Satan's the God of the world, and he's going to do everything to keep you from helping God's people, God's children. And you are out there serving, and he doesn't want you to serve. So he tries to throw all these darts at you. And what I love about you, man, is that you and Veray are so focused on what you want to accomplish. You love your children. You want the best for your family. You're not going to let any of that stuff get in your way. I've always found that, when I reduce my distractions, the best way to reduce my distractions is to focus on helping other people. Tell us more about that whole notion of, serving others and, first.
Yeah, that's big. In a little bit, kind of coming, just one last thing with distractions. It's something in this business, it's so easy to relate to, is like, when it comes to dial time, like as a brand new agent, why is it that we all hate doing dishes? And then when it comes to dial time, if you see dirty laundry or dishes, it seems so appealing. That's because that's right. The devil. That's the devil talking to you, because the devil knows if he gets you washing dishes or doing laundry, you're not going to book an appointment to go help a family that is crying for your help, that needs you. Or you're not going to make that one more phone call to that friend of yours or someone that, you spoke to at a restaurant that needs this opportunity in their life. If you get distracted, the devil's pulling you away from changing someone's financial future and keeping you from helping one more family that's going to save their family, their financial future. So, but, coming back to that, helping others before that, I know it kind of, setting the pace. It's like planting seeds, sowing seeds, and coming back to reaping it is huge, because it's all about, what we plant. It's all about what we do now and how we do it. It's in the 8 steps, communicating with a positive mental attitude. When it comes to this business, from a personal side, Vray and I had to tell ourselves, we had to just choose when we planted that seed that we were going to be a family and we were going to do whatever it took to stay together. We planted that seed, we put it in there, and, things we did, in our personal lives, reaching outside, getting a different perspective. That was us watering that seed and, just choosing not to go back, not to let these distractions keep us. So now we look back, our girls are 8 and 6, and it's a beautiful life. With what we did so long ago, planting that seed, and what we did moving forward to reap that reward, we couldn't be happier. We got beautiful, healthy girls, we're able to spend so much time with them with this beautiful business, and just coming back into the business side, reaping what you sow. Whatever it is you think you're going to do, that's what's going to happen. I'll be honest. When I first started dialing, I was terrible on the phones. It was rough. You can ask Ray. Ray's laughing because she was like, that joker had no idea what the heck he was doing. In my mind, I would make a phone call, and because what I was sowing in my head, I was like, don't pick up the phone. Don't pick up the phone. I don't want to talk to this person. I don't know how to talk to this person. Or I'd show up to an appointment. I was like, don't answer the door. Don't answer the door. And guess what? They didn't want to book the appointment with me. They didn't want to open the door. And I whatever I was sowing, that's what I was getting. And when I was reading the books and talking with people, our leaders, it was like, wow, whatever if I chose to kick butt in the morning, I was kicking butt and taking names the rest of the day. I was helping families left and right. I was going to the town of Butke with my cape, and I was protecting families. If I it's like, Andy, young, sharp people come into my business, want to be a part of my business. Young, sharp people want to be a part of my business. It's like, if we can sow that, that's what's going to happen. That's what you're going to get. That's just how it works. That's a truth. So we need to be aware of that truth, because it stands so true. I can't think of a time where if I didn't have it in my sights, like if I didn't keep a positive mindset and really just plant that seed of, this is what we're going to do. Veray was so dead set on earning Alaska our first year. It happened. If you're looking at yourself, telling yourself, I am not going to make the Ireland trip. Guess what? Well, sure as shit, you will not. I will tell you that right now, because you're going to do everything possible to keep yourself from getting it. But if you just set the goal, if you just tell yourself, I'm going to Ireland. I want to hang out with my buddies. I'm going to be there. You're going to be there. If you just choose, I'm going to Reno. I'm going to an event that's going to change my life. I'm choosing now. If you just put it there, you will make it. It will happen. It will happen. We have to be honest with ourselves and just understand that truth. Whatever we put in the ground, that's what's going to come out. If you plant a seed, I'm not a farmer, but if you plant a seed, I can assume that if I plant a seed if I put corn in the ground and I want watermelons when the harvest comes, I'm not going to get watermelon. I put corn in the ground. Watermelons aren't going to come out. It just doesn't work that way.
Absolutely. Yeah, when you sow good seed, you're going to get a good harvest. When you sow crap seeds, you're going to get a crap harvest. So, like, what kind of harvest do you want, right? Man, that's so true, so true. That's why we have to be careful of the words that we use, because sowing bad words, sowing, uninspiring words, we listen to what comes out of our mouth. And what will come out of you is what you planted in, either negative or positive. And that's why I love being around you guys, because I know that you guys are speaking positive, because that's what you exude. And I think your clients see that. Your agents love you because I think they see that. Your upline just can't be more impressed with, you're just sort of this positive energy magnet, So, your daughters are very blessed. I think, kind of distractions, right? You get pregnant, everyone's telling you have an abortion, but you know what? That's not how you were raised, not how God wanted you to make that decision. And you made the harder decision. And now look, you've got 2 beautiful daughters. And man, what a great decision you made. Talk about a seed that came up and just is going to be a harvest for you when you raise those children based on your example that you've given them. And you gave them a shot because you said, yes, I'm going to have these children. I just almost want to cry when I think about that decision you made, Ray. So, man, let's bring on your lovely wife, Ray. She is every bit as incredible agent as Jake. When they were teaching at our event in Louisville at that boot camp, we had 100 people there, and Ray was like, I don't think I've ever seen Ray teach. And it was my opportunity. It was such a pleasure. It's like, oh my gosh, she's like killing it, and she's just rocking it. So Ray, I'm going to turn over to you. You've got tremendous wisdom of a mother, wisdom of a partner with your husband. Lay it on us, man. What are some of the harsh truths of being successful from your perspective?
Thank you for having us, and thank you for just inviting us on. And we're super grateful. Jose, thank you for sharing your heart, because I think that was really the first time I've heard you speak, and I'm like trying to hold back tears here. So, but I think one of the things that and I know this by how I was raised and stuff, but one of the things that I think Jake and I really try to make clear, and we're not perfect at it, of course, but is just giving to others without expecting anything in return. Right. So there was a Bible verse that went out the other day, and I'd have to find it. I don't want to get stuck on it, but I think the biggest thing is just, helping others get what they want. And we've been taught by, we've been taught this since we were little, treat others the way you want to be treated. Right. But I think the biggest thing in this business that we have to, remind ourselves is that, if we are helping others get what they want, in the end, we will get what we want as well. And it might not always be this immediate gratification. Like when you go and you help a family, that's the immediate gratification. You go, you write a policy, you help the family, you get paid $500 a couple days later, right? So I think, when it comes to this business, that's just something that I always try to keep in front of me. And Jake and I, and we've always done that. And, it's crazy because that, when you were talking to us last night, this was something that was on my heart. I had lunch with my grandpa the other day. I think he's like 67. I don't know. He's still really young, but, Jake was talking to him about something like we had found a good deal on Craigslist, right? Like kind of off subject. And my grandpa was like, you don't get lucky. There's karma, there's good karma and there's bad karma. people don't get lucky. It's things that we're sowing from, from years ago, planting good seeds, coming back to what Jake was saying, and then we get the reward of it, right? So, if there's anything that I could do in this business, Jake's really good. He's the one on the phone with the agents all the time, doing the lead planning, doing that stuff. And, something that I try to do is just be a friend to them. Can I give more of myself to them and not expect anything in return? Because at the end of the day, I know that if we can help, coach somebody and develop them and build that trust with them, and they know that, like, deep down, like, I do love these people like my family, hopefully they'll feel that back. And at the end of the day, they're winning. And when they're winning, we're winning, because we don't win unless anybody else wins. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just, for me, it's just, how can I always be giving back? And I'm not perfect. You could ask any of the agents, have they, I don't think I've ever said anything like direct to be hurtful or rude, but, I try to always be, how can I be a giving person? I think that's the biggest thing for me is,
that is so true. I can tell that in your personality, in how you give. It's amazing. Even when I'm the most tired and it's like midnight and an agent calls me and it's like, oh man, I can't give anymore. What's amazing is that when you get on that phone and pick up the phone, you don't know where the energy's coming from. But man, what God does is he fills you up. Because here's the thing, God's love, right? God's full of love. He's got unabounding love. And he knows that when you're trying to help his children, he's going to give you everything that you need to help that person. The more you empty yourself of what God's given you in grace, the more you get filled up. It's amazing to me. It's like it never runs out. And that's why, just like every time, the most tired you are, the most you still do it because you're supposed to. And God gives you that strength. You guys can definitely understand this. When you hear your child throwing up in the other room, you don't even think, hey, Jake, are you going to go? We're tired. Let's just go back to bed. No, you go and you take care of your child. Why? Because that is who you are. That is what you do. There's no question. That's why you guys are tremendous givers, because that's who you are. And that's why you guys are so successful, is because you give yourself away. And what's amazing is the more you give, the more you get. It's just, you guys are the epitome of that. Yeah. So, at the end of the day, right, Bray, what does this all mean? Like at the end of the light, at the end of the day. So
I think, one of the biggest things that I try to just remember is, my kids are watching me. Our kids are watching us. I've got four beautiful nieces and a nephew, and they're all of our nieces and nephews and our children are all under 9 years old. But I just try to remember, like, I've got little eyes watching me, and, if there's one of the greatest joys in my life so far has been being a mom and an auntie. So I'm just always, trying to think to myself, and I'm not perfect at times, of course, nobody is, but it's just like, what are my kids seeing me do every day? Are they seeing me treat my husband with respect? Are they seeing me treat others with respect? I always think, like, what do I want to be remembered by, right? Like, what is, when I die, God, hopefully no time soon, but, we don't know that. But when I pass away, am I going to be remembered as the mom that loved unconditionally? And am I going to be remembered as the mom who gave it her all, who, never passed judgment on any of my nieces or my nephew or any of my children? And I want to be remembered by, my friends and my husband as the person who always gave love. And, just, yes, it's important to make money out there and, what we're doing. But at the end of the day, it's like, what are we doing it for? Right. So when I look at this business, I can literally take it and it fits. Like, this business is a part of our lives, like, but it's not all of our lives. Right. But Jake and I, I mean, when we look at it, we really do. Like, we go on date nights and it's like, hey, let's go on a date. And we're talking about how fired up we are about agents, like it's something that we're living and breathing now. So I'm just thinking, how do I want to be remembered? Like, do my agents look at me and they think, wow, Jake and Bray, they gave it their all for us. They were good leaders. They cared about us. They got into our hearts, and they're not just looking at me as a number. Alex, I think we were talking yesterday, and it was actually something Adam Katz had touched on about power of edification, right? Like, not looking at agents as a number and not using their success to edify them, to make them feel good in that moment, and then, not ever edifying them again, because at the end of the day, that's not what this is all about. Like, we're in this because, we came for the money, don't get me wrong, but we stayed because we saw the bigger picture here. So, when I'm just thinking of that, it's like, man, I just want to be that example. I want to, I didn't know Chris Long, the way that you guys did, but man, the way that you guys talked about him, I mean, shoot, who doesn't want to be remembered like that, right? We just lost a close family member on Friday, and it's like, how are we going to be remembered, and what are the things that people are going to say? So I just want to be that love. I just want to be that light. I just want to be an example. I want them to say, mom worked hard. I had a loving, loyal wife who put God first. I just want our agents to always look, and Jake and I are in this for the long haul. We truthfully believe that, like, this is where this is where we are calling home. This is where we're going to grow. This is where we're going to flourish. And it's like, what are our agents going to talk about? Do they look back on Jake and Bray and say those guys were a couple of jerks and they didn't really care? They put themselves first. Or are they saying, man, they really cared about me and they helped me get to where I am, just like our leaders have done for us?
Wow. You said a mouthful there.
Sorry.
Think about, I think about Chris, Chris Long. He's not far from my thoughts. I still have his funeral card where I pray at night. And so it's almost like I see him every night. And I think about how his friends and loved ones talked about him. And I think, man, if I could live up to that same thing. One thing for sure, he took selfies of his family all the time. So guess what I'm doing? I'm taking selfies with my kids all the time now. And, so you're just a great example. You're inspiring to me, all the stuff you've done to build this business in concert with Jake. And you guys are truly a team. If there's ever was a, just the right team, the way that you guys interact with each other and the way that you love your children and provide for them, and then the way that you get around the people that are trying to help you, that's one thing that you guys are so humble. And I appreciate that about you so much. And you're always willing to learn. And as much as, you're on track to make over 300,000 this year, but it's like, it's just stopping point along the way. I think you see it the way that we see it, is that the income is just a measure of how much you've served other people, how much you've given away of yourselves to help other people. And I can say this for someone who's got all our 5 kids are out of the house now. Our middle daughter just graduated this last weekend. And when I think about how they grew up in the Alliance with Andy Albright, and Jane Albright is mentoring us, that ends up mentoring them, what's amazing is how their lives are turning out. And I'm so excited to see that for you when you see your daughters grow up with this positive influence in their lives, because you are being positively influenced by Andy and Jane and Mike and Noel and Joseph and Venus, everyone that you're surrounding yourself with, man. And I said, just warms my heart. Like I said, I want to adopt you guys, and I'll put the paperwork through. But you've been a blessing to us, so man, I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah. I know you were talking about how your daughter just graduated, and I was like, man, that's so cool. We've got a kindergarten graduation coming up, and your daughter just graduated college, so we're looking forward to it, man. It's never been better.
Absolutely. Yeah, art school. Like I said before, man, what parent sends their kid to art school? Only parents that have the money, because if their kid doesn't make it in art, they can hire them to join the insurance business. That's all I got to say. Well, I appreciate y'all. Shout out to my buddy John. I wanted him on the call, but he underwent a successful procedure, so he's doing great. So I'm going to summarize. I'm going to share this with you because this kind of helps me stay on track. And, the whole idea of this was the 7 harsh truths. Is it really harsh? I don't think it's harsh. I think it's what it is, right? It's truth. Truth can be harsh. Of course, that's my beautiful family there. Just had to brag on them, But so let's summarize, man. Let's kind of take it one by one. Like Jose was talking, man, suffering and pain, disappointment are part of life. You just got to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just have to deal with it. So here's a verse here. For this is commendable, that because of conscience towards God, one endures grief, suffering wrongfully. For what credit is it if when you are beaten for your faults, you take it patiently? But when you do good and suffer, if you take it patiently, this is commendable before God. And man, Jose's got, by any stretch of the imagination, had a tough life, growing up as an orphan and, with not much direction. But what I love about his attitude is he was going to make it. He's going to figure it out. Going through alcoholism, he's going to figure it out. And he's still figuring it out, but he is on fire and he's got the work ethic behind it. So like Jake said, man, or Jose said, man, he has got a work ethic like none other. The soul of a lazy man desires and has nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made rich. Proverbs 13:4. Jose is getting rich, not only the income, but he's becoming rich because the characters he's building by continuing to overcome what people would say a rough background. You got people that dwell on their disadvantages in life and they never put the work in because they just feel they just can't make it because of their background. And Jose said, man, I'm going to make it in spite of my background. And I'm going to show you because I'm going to put the work in, man. He's got some of the best work ethic I've ever seen. And he's modeled some of the best people out there. I go back to Brian Rojas, man. Without Brian, I don't know where Jose would be, but because of Brian and Jose's willingness to work and get around the people that are doing it. He mentioned Steve Maxim in there and all the other people in there, Stephanie Rodriguez. They're not even part of our organization, right? But they are helping someone in my organization. That's why I love them so much, because it's like when someone else shows a kindness to your child, there's nothing I wouldn't do for them. You know what I mean? So, man, there's no substitute for hard work, right? So this is what Jake brought up, man. Recognize the enemy. Man, Satan is the god of this world. That is one enemy that you cannot mess with because he's going to try to get in your head. He's going to tell you you are nothing. He's going to tell you that you were, why would you think you could ever do this? He's going to put all that self-image crap in your head, and you know whose you are, right? You know whose you are. You know that you were made for greatness. You were made in the image and likeness of God above. And so why don't you claim the kingdom that is given to you as a child of the king, kid of the king, and operate in spite of the enemy trying to bring you down. And you know what? We also have enemy within. Sometimes our biggest distraction is what we put in ourselves, our fear and doubt of whether we can do it. So recognize the enemy. In whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believeth not, lest light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. All right, another thing that Jake talked about, we reap what we sow. Everything that we do is a seed that we are sowing. Now, is the seed you're sowing good seed or is it crap seed? What kind of harvest do you want? This is the idea. You begin with the end in mind. What do you want to accomplish in your life? Because anything that you're doing is you're sowing, right? Either good or bad. It's going to come up multiples, right? One seed turns into many when it comes up in a harvest. What type of harvest are you looking for? We totally reap what we sow. This is one of my favorite verses. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever a man sows, he will also reap. For he who sows to his flesh will of the flesh reap corruption, but he who sows to the spirit and will of the Spirit reap everlasting life. Galatians. And then Vere. You know what? We're all going to end this life at some point. But what are you going to be remembered for? What do you want to be remembered for? Do you want to be remembered for the person that worked all the time, did 40 appointments a week, and never spent time with their family? Or do you want to be remembered for the person that was chasing a dream, providing for their family, and spending time with your family, time, real time, not just watching TV with your kids, but being with your family and earning the income to provide for your family, right? What do you want to be remembered for? So teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom, right? What you're seeing here with the guests that I had on here, Jake and Vere and Jose, is that they are learning. They're young. But what I'm excited about them is they are earning their stripes. They are learning. They're gaining the wisdom through perseverance and things that they're going through. And they're not taking their lives for granted. They're not taking their time for granted because they know that it can be taken away. So did they do enough? Did I do enough? Well, God gave me another day on this earth to make a difference in someone else's life. And then finally, with Vere, you won't be happy by getting, but by giving. I think true happiness is giving yourself away to other people so you can help make their lives better. And it's amazing when you do that to your clients, to your agents that you're hiring. When you give yourself away, the more that you get in return. Man, I'm thinking you're building your mansion in heaven every time you give yourself away to another person. God will bless you, man. He will bless you because he loves you and he sees that you love his children. Is more blessed to give than to receive. And finally, here's number 7. This is the one I'm covering. We must endure to make it. Perseverance is the key to anything in life. You have to hang in there. That's one thing. The one decision is to get in the business. The second decision you got to make is never, ever, ever, ever quit. You can't quit this thing. See, God wants to bless you with so much. If you persevere, if you do not wither, if you do not succumb to fear and doubt that Satan's trying to stick in your head to tell you you're not worth it. You are worth it. You are enough. God has given you everything. He's given you the grace and the gifts and everything to make it, to be a blessing to other people. That's ultimately what he wants for you. He who endures to the end shall be saved. I'm going to end with this one, man, because I think this is one of my favorite. Galatians 6:9. And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. We shall reap if we faint not. So here's the deal, gang. The harsh truths are not harsh, but they're truth. If you are willing to embrace what it is you're in this thing for and willing to persevere through all the trials, we've all been through it. Anyone who's been successful in this has been through trial and they've come out the other end and they're still going through trials. I'm still going through trials in my life, but you know what? I know whose I am. I know why I'm doing this thing. I know that God above is watching over me and my family because I'm going out there, stepping out of faith and doing what it is he wants me to do. You know, it's not chasing a ring. Man, man gives the award, but God gives the reward. I'm looking for my reward. I'm not chasing the vanity of edification. I'm not like I used to. I used to, man. I used to like, oh God, please, Andy Albright, please say my name. Please say my name. And I remember I got hung up on this crazy thing. I was looking at one of these books, and I was like the only manager not mentioned in the foreword. I go, holy crap. I was like crying. I was crying to Andy. You don't love me because I wasn't mentioned in the foreword. You know, it's like this vanity, man. It's all vanity. Come on. Don't be deceived by edification. If you're going after the vanity of edification, you're in the wrong place, brother, sister, because that's what this ain't about that, man. It's about God does not look at your level. He doesn't look at the ring on your finger. What he looks at is, did you pick up a phone from an agent that needs your help, especially when you're tired, especially when it's not the nicest agent in the world, especially when it's someone who is like, you're just wondering if they're going to make it. You still pick the dadgum phone up and you help them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think in the end, that's what God looks at. He doesn't look at your level. He doesn't look at how many times Andy said your name on a TWC. Man, he looks at, did you help someone today? So I'm asking y'all out there, did you help someone today? Are you helping someone today? Are you getting on the phone to go find a family that needs you? Because you know these families on these leads, I don't care what leads you're running. Man, you are the only one that can help them. You got to think like that. You're the only one. God, you are God's gift to them. So when you go through your leads, it's like, okay, who's God going to help me bless today? And when you start thinking like that, man, I'm going to end with this story. Jason and Tony Carey, some of the best leaders in the Alliance. They're top tier, some of my best friends in the world, and I love them, man. And they had me come on their call a week or two ago to talk about stuff. They asked me questions that, honestly, some of the stuff I've not talked about in seems like decades, right? This whole notion of perseverance. So I remember, man, in my first year of the business, we were kicking butt, but you know what? I was having one of those weeks. You know those weeks where the lead bill is going to come and you don't know if the commissions are going to cover it, and you just had a big chargeback. And I'm sitting there going, man, I've got to hustle. So I booked like 3 or 4 appointments down Cincinnati. It's about an hour away from where I live. And man, I closed nothing. I had the big zero goose egg. I didn't close anything. Geez, I wonder if any of you have been through that. And I come in defeated. I was like driving around just trying to find a reason not to come home. I had a 4-year-old, 2-year-old, and 1-year-old at home, and my wife, Jenny, and it's like late night, midnight. And so I parked my car, and I'm sitting on the fender of my car, and I'm looking up at the sky going, I'm screaming, honestly, I'm screaming, tears in my eyes. God, why did you put me in this business? Are you faking me out? What are you teaching? I was screaming. My voice was raw. You ever feel like that? Like you've just been defeated and like you just cannot, oh my gosh, man. So I go in the house and I'm crying. I'm feeling like a sap, like a loser, like mega loser, man. Alex Aben, mega loser, And then I go up and all 3 children are in one room because we kind of had this nursery idea that just we wanted them to sleep together and be together. And so I opened the door and I looked in on them. I just want to look at my children and I wanted to hear them breathe. I wanted to watch them sleep. I don't know if you guys as parents ever just watch your kids sleep. There's just something about it. And I was watching them, looking at them sleep, and I'm just thinking, the thought occurred to me, like, oh my gosh, I would do anything for my children. I would do anything for them. I would die for them. I'd do anything for them. And I realized it struck me. This is how much does God love me? If I love my children this much, my God in heaven loves me way more. He gave me his son to suffer and die for me and rise so that I can have eternal life. How can I ever question the goodness that God has for me if I just follow what he wants from me? I realized at that moment, God was not mocking me by getting me in this business. God was teaching me that I could be tough if I relied on him. And I chose to believe that God loves me way more than I love my kids. I love my kids. And I bucked up there. I said, man, no matter what, I'm going to follow you, Lord, whatever you want me to do in this business. And I don't care how tired, I don't care what happens. All I know is I'm going to learn from all this seemingly defeats, and I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to be better because you made me and you want the best for me. I'm going to do everything I can to show you that I believe in you And that is what made me decide to persevere when things weren't going good. Because I know God would not fool me to get into this business of serving other people, right? Anyway, thanks, Jose Compton. Thanks, Jacob Gray, Joseph. You guys rock. I'm humbled to be part of your growth in the business. I'm humbled that Patrick Connors and Noel Leventovich said yes. They said yes to my question of, hey, man, you want to see something that we can make some money at? And they said yes. Thank God. Because without me asking that question, who knows how many y'all would be here, right? Like without Andy Albright asking you to get in the business, where would we be? We'd be in some cubicle farm wondering if there's anything better out there. Thank God Andy asked us into the business. Then I asked Mike and Noel, actually Noel, and then Patrick Connors. And man, it just exploded from there. The people on this call that you saw were fruits of people saying yes, right? And that's all we ask, because you say yes. You say yes to Reno. You say yes to coming to family reunion. It's a business of saying yes to the people that are trying to help you. And I thank God I said yes to Andy Albright, because otherwise it wouldn't be yours. Thank you, Andy and Jane Albright, for asking me the question. Man, say yes. Step up. God bless everybody. I appreciate y'all being on. Thanks. Take care.